to get eyeballs, basically you want to get readers. In which language did you expect your readership to be more easily reached? English or the other language? English or the other language?
English.
Everybody English? The other language? How many of you thought the other language is easier? Okay. I always felt the other language was easier. For me, the other language is Hungarian. I always felt that it's easier. You know, when Eliza said, you want to write in English because you want to get famous, good luck with that. Good luck with that. It's much easier to get famous in your own language, in your own country where you grew up. You know the culture. You know, my first book deal that I got in Hungarian, it was that I met my old university professor, and she said, "Would you like to write about that?" And then I was with a major publishing house in Hungary. What are the chances of ever ending up in the UK or America where they can publish an English language book? So I always felt that once you start writing in English, you're out in this kind of big faceless universal space. And you know, when somebody does, let's say there are people who do creative writing for large companies, what they do is they create a persona of the reader, a very specific persona of the reader. How old, what gender, what kind of upbringing, what kind of education, what kind of experience. I mean, they are writing my piece. If they buy a mobile phone, what kind of mobile phone does my reader buy? If they go on holiday, what kind of holiday do they go on? I know exactly who I'm writing to in Hungarian. I have absolutely no idea in English. Absolutely no idea. This is number one. Number two, imagine the kind of competition that you have at home, in your native language or in Hungary or anywhere else, and now imagine the kind of competition you have in English. There are hundreds and hundreds of books exactly like yours published in English each week. Hundreds and hundreds of books. I write non-fiction about my consulting practice, and I asked a publishing house. They said there are about 300 books a week published in your topic. A week, right? In Hungary, I can still find a niche that nobody has ever written about. And finally, let me add that opening up and stepping out into this English language space, in my opinion, you have to be prepared to lose some of your identity. This is my opinion. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the writer Joseph Conrad. How many of you know which country Joseph Conrad came from? Joseph Conrad was Polish. Polish. He obviously was not called Joseph Conrad by his Polish parents. He was called something that nobody could pronounce in English, and then he stepped into well, he was not called Joseph Conrad at all. He started working on ships. He went global first by his profession. I like his story because it's somewhat similar to my profession. I mean, I have been living in China for 15 years. I started a consulting business there, and then you start writing in English, and then you say, okay, I mean, this Polish name, it has to go.